Have you ever found yourself entangled in a connection that feels electric one moment and soul-crushing the next? You're not sure what to call it. Love, lust, obsession. But you know something doesn't feel right. The highs are euphoric, but the lows leave you questioning your worth. You crave their touch, yet you fear what it costs you. This isn't love. It's something far more complicated. Something darker. You might be living in the grip of a sex-based trauma bond, a powerful, emotional chain forged in the fire of intimacy, manipulation, and pain. It's not just about sex. It's about survival. And the lines between passion and punishment become dangerously blurred. Unlike typical relationships, where closeness brings safety, a trauma bond confuses your nervous system. Your body feels connected, even when your spirit feels violated. And because sex is involved, the bond tightens. It doesn't just tie you to the person, it entraps your identity, your self-worth, your hope for love. Trauma bonds often begin with emotional intensity that feels like fate. You're swept off your feet. They say all the right things. They look at you like you're the only one in the world. It's intoxicating. But what starts as chemistry quickly escalates into control. Before you know it, you're giving more than you're receiving, emotionally, physically, even spiritually. And you're afraid to stop. At first, it feels like a dream. You're laughing at inside jokes after a few days, sharing secrets you usually guard like gold. They're already talking about soulmates forever, and how you're different from everyone else. You feel flattered, chosen even, but in reality, something unsettling is unfolding. Things are moving way too fast. You're still trying to remember their favorite food, and they're already talking about what you're like in bed. Conversations leapfrog past boundaries, and before your mind has time to catch up, your body is already involved. What you thought was a spark might actually be a flare, a signal that danger is closer than you think. Experts call this phase love bombing. It's when someone floods you with affection, attention, and desire so intensely that you lose sight of the red flags. Compliments feel like confessions. Every text feels urgent. Every moment apart starts to feel like withdrawal. And when sex enters the picture too early, it cements an emotional attachment that your brain mistakes for real intimacy. But intimacy without trust is not connection. It's confusion dressed as romance. In a healthy relationship, intimacy deepens. Gradually. It's built, not thrown at you. It grows in safety, not speed. So when someone pushes for sexual closeness before emotional safety is established, it's not passion, it's pressure, and pressure is not love. In healthy relationships, sexual vulnerability is met with care. Lovers learn each other with curiosity, not judgment. Intimacy becomes a conversation of trust, a space where both people feel safe, seen, and celebrated. But what happens when that space turns cold? One moment, your partner is pulling you close, whispering promises and desires. The next, they're critiquing how you kissed, laughing at the way you moved, saying things like, "You're not good at this," or "No one else would want you." Suddenly, what was supposed to be intimate becomes humiliating. These words don't come from a place of love. They're calculated cuts, designed to weaken your confidence and increase your dependence. It's not feedback. It's psychological warfare, and over time, you begin to believe them. You start to dread the bedroom. You overthink every touch. Your desire doesn't just shrink, it disappears. Not because you've lost interest in sex, but because you've begun associating it with shame, fear, and rejection. Instead of feeling connected, you feel exposed and unworthy. This isn't just emotional damage, it's a dismantling of identity. Because once they've convinced you that your worth is tied to their approval, they control your desire, your self-image, and your silence. But hear this. Their cruelty is not your truth. Their words are not the measure of your worth. Real love doesn't leave you doubting your value after the lights go out. There was a time when intimacy felt natural, even beautiful. You looked forward to it, felt alive in it. But now something's changed. The thought of sex doesn't excite you. Anymore, it terrifies you. What once was a space of connection now feels like a battlefield where you never win. You start avoiding it, not out of disinterest, but out of self-protection. Every touch carries the echo of past criticisms. Every kiss feels like a test you're destined to fail. And even when you try to enjoy the moment, your mind spirals with anxiety. Will they judge me again? Will I be good enough this time? This isn't about libido. It's about survival. When sex becomes a source of shame and emotional risk, your body shuts down to protect you. It's not dysfunction, and it's wisdom. Your nervous system is sounding the alarm that something is deeply unsafe, even if your heart is still clinging to hope. And yet, that hope is what traps you, because every once in a while, they turn sweet again. They tell you you're beautiful. They hold you like they mean it. And for a brief moment, the pain fades. But then the cycle resets, and you're pulled right back into the spiral of longing, rejection, and confusion. You begin to believe that your sexual worth, even your human worth, depends entirely on their validation. That if they're happy with you, then maybe you're okay. But when they're distant or cruel, you feel invisible, broken, unlovable. This isn't your fault. It's the system of abuse doing exactly what it was designed to do. Confuse love with control. In the beginning, sex felt like magic. Spontaneous, passionate, deeply connecting. You believed it meant something real, something sacred. But now it feels strategic, conditional. Almost like a negotiation where you don't know the rules, only the consequences. Suddenly, sex isn't shared. It's given or taken. Not because of desire, but because of behavior. Did you say something they didn't like? They withdraw. Do something they approve of? Suddenly they're affectionate again. You're pulled close not because they love you, but because you passed some unspoken test. And when you fail, their touch disappears. Their warmth vanishes. And what's left is silence, distance, emptiness. In this cycle, sex becomes a tool, not of connection, but of control. It's used to manipulate emotions, reinforce dominance, and keep you guessing. One moment, they make you feel like the most desired person on earth. The next, they make you feel invisible. And because the highs feel so incredible, your brain starts to ignore the lows. You convince yourself that maybe if you just try harder, love them better, please them more, the good version will stay. But that version was never real. It was a lure, a mask, a performance to keep you invested. True love doesn't use your body as a scoreboard. It doesn't withhold affection to punish or offer it as a prize. It doesn't train you to earn intimacy through obedience. And yet, when you're stuck in a trauma bond, you begin to believe that this is normal, that this is just how relationships work, that love is supposed to hurt before it heals. But no, love doesn't demand submission. Control does. The fight was brutal, words were sharp, wounds reopened, and trust cracked again. But instead of talking through it, they pull you close. And before the pain can settle, you're in their arms, lips pressed against yours, breath tangled, in a moment that feels almost redemptive. Almost. But afterward, nothing is resolved. The silence lingers. The issues remain. The pain just went underground. This is the pattern. You fight, you don't talk, you touch. And for a while, it feels like the storm has passed. But really, the storm has only been paused, buried under the illusion of intimacy. Sex becomes the peace treaty that no one signs, a way to pretend things are okay when they're anything but. And here's the deception. Because sex is vulnerable, emotional, intense, it tricks your body into believing healing has taken place. But nothing has changed. The core issues are untouched, and so the cycle repeats. Instead of solving problems, you're sedating them. You use your body to say what your voice is too afraid to express. You seek closeness to feel safe again, but end up more disconnected than before. And with every repetition, you get further from the truth and further from yourself. In trauma bonds, this kind of intimacy feels like relief. But relief is not the same as resolution. One soothes, the other heals, and only one leads you out of the cycle. Because real healing begins when you're brave enough to stop using sex as a shortcut to peace and start facing the pain head on. You've read the signs, you've felt them in your gut, the unease, the inconsistency, the moments that leave you crying but still defending them. Somewhere deep down, you know something's wrong, but your heart keeps whispering. Maybe it's just a phase. Maybe they'll change. This is the most painful part of a trauma bond. You don't want to see the truth because seeing it means letting go. And letting go doesn't just mean losing them. It feels like losing a piece of yourself, the part that hoped, that believed. That fought so hard to hold on, so you rationalize. You tell yourself they didn't mean it, that it was stress or childhood trauma, or that maybe you're just too sensitive. You blame yourself for their cruelty. You hang on to every apology like it's a promise carved in stone, even though it always fades with time. But here's the truth. Love should not require you to abandon yourself to keep someone else. The longer you ignore the red flags, the deeper the hooks sink. The harder it becomes to see where they end and where you begin. Your judgment gets clouded. Your reality distorted. You confuse chaos for passion, tension for intimacy, and manipulation for care. And still, you stay. Not because you're weak, but because trauma bonds are designed to make escape feel impossible. They tangle your emotions, your history, your identity, until the very idea of leaving feels like ripping out your own heart. But you can leave. And you can heal. Acknowledging the pattern is the first and bravest step. You deserve a love that doesn't confuse or hurt you. One that doesn't come with conditions, punishments, or fear. You deserve peace, not punishment. Connection, not control. And if this hit close to home, know this: you are not broken, you are awakening.